welcome to another episode of Talking That Talk Official Podcast. I am your host, Juice, aka No Ordinary Brother.
All right, what up, world? Welcome back to your favorite show. I go by the name of King Exodus. You're tapping in for the first time. Welcome to your favorite show. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the live, share the video. Right. Couple of quick topics before we do our thing tonight. Shouts out to Bernice King, daughter of Martin Luther King. Recently, her and a group of investors from Atlanta purchased a bank in Utah, which would be the first black-owned bank in that area, with over $68 million in total assets within that bank. So, shouts out to that queen, shouts out to that black woman for making that move. It's very important for different communities, not just black communities, but for everyone to make as many moves as possible in order to create resources within their own community, right? So kind of going back to this famous Umar debate that he had on Wrap Up Crew podcast, these are the type of moves that has to be made in order for different communities to have their own, right? Their own things established, banks, supermarkets, what have you. So shouts out to her. I'll let you get your input on that.
Oh, man. Beautiful thing. Like they said, we got to be able to fund our own people to a point where things we say and do can't be tied into other individuals, so we can get canceled out, having our accounts freeze or no longer wanting to where we can't store our money. So, hey, listen, I do believe that's a position of power move. You know what I'm saying? It just takes X amount of people to dump into it, and let's keep rolling. Shout out to that dude once again, Jaylen Brown, man. Hey, look, putting some more things in motion. Maybe they could talk and Jaylen can throw some money towards that business as well.
Right. Okay, cool. Moving on. We have Apple, the stock in particular. It's taking a little bit of a downside due to consistent quarters where they didn't meet revenue, so to speak. And it's mainly centered around iPhone sales not being what they once were. So I'm pretty sure Tim Cook will find a way to resolve this situation, increase sales again, and put that stock back up to being like the number one. Apple kind of controls a lot of ETFs and index funds. It's like pretty much the majority stock percentages in like the S&P 500, for example. So I'm pretty sure the company will bounce back. Like I said, recently they hit about $3 trillion in market cap. So these types of things tend to happen from time to time with companies. It's also possible for Amazon to up their stock based on what they have going on. They're getting heavily involved into the healthcare space. You'll be able to see this coming into fruition soon. And then you have companies like Microsoft, who's not that far behind in market cap from Apple. So just words to the wise to people that tap into the S&P 500, people tap into index funds, and people that are invested into Apple. It's definitely a situation you should be aware of, investigate. But I'm pretty sure Tim Cook will find a way to make this create upside within that company. So.
Shout out to Tim Cook, man. Got a couple of his books I still read to this very day. I do believe that man can definitely turn things around. Hey, my boy Kazi said he's in LA, man. Shout out to you, brother. You said you was ready to make the moves, transition to a different state, make some moves within your music, and, you know, be productive. Hey, be safe, man. Make sure you do your thing out there. One thing I like to go ahead and touch up on the basis is I was reading a tweet by a guy named Tootsie. I think he's an artist or something. But in the tweet, he was like, hey, listen, you don't get no privacy when you get fame. He's like, listen, the constant people looking over you, wanting your attention. You can't even go out and eat food and shop like you used to do because you got to have bodyguards around you. He's like, it's not worth it. He said, listen, there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. At least then you can be normal and still live the same life that you live. I thought that was powerful. We don't have enough people, and like I said, this is a guy who's making 6 figures to maybe $1 million. You know, I haven't looked as much as 6 figures to a couple of mil, maybe $1 million or two. And he's telling you, like, look, what I'm going through on a daily basis, I have no peace because of it. Y'all want fame and attention, but you got to understand, like, you'll never have the privacy and the state of mind and peace that you once had. And I was like, finally, somebody somebody saying like, listen, it's cool just to work a 9 to 5 and be under the radar. And like I said, I'm reading the comments at the same time, and some people are like, well, listen, it's different for you because you have the money and you got the notoriety. Some of us have never known what it's like to have the notoriety. Then other people are like, listen, with fame, you can do a lot of things if you use your status the correct way. So it was interesting just reading the comments from that. But basically, what I just summed up for you, man, how do you feel about that? An artist speaking out on, hey, listen, it's cool to have a 9 to 5, the power of privacy, and et cetera.
Pretty much you nailed it. It's easier said than done when you actually elevate and experience the changes. But for people that's still at the bottom, of course, they're not going to share the same sentiment towards that situation because they're at the bottom. They're still working a 9 to 5. They still feel like the job got control over them. One of the worst things you can do being a full-time employee is like waking up in the morning a little bit late, but still on time. And then something simple as you got to do an extra thing in the morning. Now you're late to work. You can't even afford to take a long piss or take a shit before you go to work because if you do that, you're going to be late. You know what I'm saying? Then you got traffic and bills and all these different types of things. So when people see the entertainment world, they look at that as freedom. You feel me? So some people are willing to pay the price for that freedom just to get out of that 9 to 5 system, that 1/3 of their day and time, so to speak. So to each his own. I think different people manage it differently based on why they actually tapped into that space of quote unquote tapping into their freedom, what have you. But we always hear the famous quotes, more money, more problems. Diddy even said it in one of Meek Mill's songs, are you sure you want this money? You sure you want this fame? Your family switch up on you, people switch up on you, people start to look at you as a paycheck. So, you just gotta pick your poison in life. To whom much is given, much is tested, much is required. So, it's only for a select few to be able to handle that pressure. So, got it.
Pick your poison, man.
I add one more thing going back to the Apple situation. For content creators, for people that's like in that particular space, you're trying to run a company, you're trying to run a business, you have to remember what attracted people to you in the first place. Feel me? Even though you can create different types of products and different types of services, 9 times out of 10, people are going to always remember the first thing that attracted them to you. So you have to be innovative within that space first. Feel me? So, like I say, the iPhones, people that have iPhones are not really, they don't have that enthusiastic energy. Like, I can't wait to get the next one because they're all the same. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be innovative within your first product, your first source of energy. Jay-Z, a product of that, is like a lot of people that remember Jay from back in the day, they want the old Jay. So his response is, buy my old albums. He has a different approach towards adjusting towards time and always being productive. And you got to look at even him being with Beyonce probably helped him adapt to changes in time and continuously sell. Then you got Kanye. So what I'm trying to say is just remember what people attached to you for in the first place. And you always have to be innovative within that space. And if you're not going to be innovative within that space, you got to work 10 times harder to keep building your audience and keep building your attraction and keep people locked in. So that's all I got.
Oh man, look, I'm gonna make a statement, make 2 statements. One statement this lady said was like, look at like first attracted you to people, right? My social media account, I used to have up to the highest followers I ever had was 10.5K. I cleaned up a lot of my account because I was like, you know what I'm saying, I was kind of free flowing, but I know what got people attention back then at the same time. So me being more innovative, I noticed like, listen, maybe I can add some things that I used to do in the past to the present, but I just need to be more cautious of when I do it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I keep telling people like, listen, depending what route you're going, your image matters on social media. Absolutely. I never think it doesn't. So I was in a barbershop today, as y'all can tell. Y'all see my swoosh? So look, I'm in a barbershop, right? And we was talking about plies today. And we was talking about plies, and a song came up randomly, right? Randomly. Plies came up randomly, and we're talking. And he's like, man, Plies still making music? I said, yeah. He's like, I said, he don't sound the same at all. He's like, no, he had to adjust with time. I said, what actually helped him develop his new transition, right? He's like, what? I said, when he got rid of his gold teeth, he was able to now place a different transition to where he can make music and then grab more people's attention. I said, if you look at his social media now, he's more comedy based. He's getting more political based. But like I said, you got to understand your transitional stages to where it can then benefit you at the same time. So that was like you said, hey, be able to understand like what do you have to do and adjust the time. Applies it. Like I said, some of your transition
Mhm.
stages comes with what you do physically or what you start doing on a digital basis, right? The small things matter, right? If you ever change too quick, they'll catch on to it, right?
Mhm.
Give you understand. On the Bulldogs, Stud Magnificent. I don't know if y'all remember when he started becoming part of the political campaign or whatever, and they start asking him questions that he couldn't answer. Like, you just threw on a suit, man. You're not really this person. You thought you was going to get behind Barack Obama, use his name to transition to a different space, but that's not you. And then he went back to rapping after that episode. So, like
Right.
I said, it takes time to develop your new stages.
Yeah. And another person came to mind is 50. 50 first two albums was his highest selling albums within first week sales. You gotta look at what happened. Everything was gangster, 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 fuck the singing. And then the second album he started singing. So sometimes you can adapt too fast because people will love you for one thing and then you can try to feed them something else and the audience isn't ready for that. So you have to be aware of how fast you actually change your product, right? So it works for some people it don't work. I love The Weeknd. Yo, when dude was probably on these drugs and he was making all these albums in the beginning, that was my nigga. But I don't know if he sobered up and went pop, but I was like, yo, get some pills back in your life, man. I don't know.
No, man.
Need that
Hey,
old
come on,
school
man,
get back, man. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, you just gotta be careful about how you adapt and change. It's just something to continuously observe. All right.
Shout out, shout out
Mhm.
to the dude J. Cole who transitioned.
I'm sorry, to the new J. Cole.
Hey, listen,
All right.
when he transitioned to every album, and then how he threw certain beats in there to catch people's attention, that was beautiful. As I
All
said,
right. All right. So since you brought up J. Cole, do you see this? Because I observe a lot. Can you see that he incorporated a little bit of Kendrick style in his adjustments, like the
yeah,
fast rap? The
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait,
All
what
right.
else? What else you got, man?
No,
Hey,
I'm
hey,
just
hey,
saying.
fuck the
I'm just
subject. You
saying.
want to talk about him out there?
Hey, we do it all, baby. We do it
Yeah,
all.
man, let's
You know
go,
what I'm
let's go,
saying?
let's
You
go.
want left hand layup, right hand, what you want? You know what I mean? All right. So for the main event, divine timing, and it's pretty much just focusing on like timing in life versus your actions and how the two don't always connect, but your actions always have to be consistent. So give you a backstory. Uh, the other day, I had my whole day mapped out and I knew exactly what I was going to do. Ain't shit work out according to my plan, but it worked out. I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna get off work. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna work on my copyright. That should take me less than 30 minutes. That shit took like an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was screwed up. The password wasn't allowing me to log in. I had to reset the password twice, put this long ass password in that's very difficult as fuck. I had to like even uploading what I was trying to copyright. That didn't work out too well in the beginning, but I got it done nonetheless. So okay, cool. I still want to work out. I bet got my little workout in. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to the grocery store, get a couple of items. This shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. I was in the store for probably 45 fucking minutes. You feel me? Like everything just didn't line up. I get in the store, I get everything I need, I get in line. I'm behind this old white lady who she had to been on negative time for real because she had a basket full of items and she had a million coupons she was trying to scan. She had like 5 different cards she was trying to pay with. And she didn't even scratch off like, because I guess some of them's gift cards. She didn't even scratch off the back pin numbers and all that. So I'm just in line, just patiently waiting, feel me, to check out, do my thing. So as I'm leaving the grocery store in the parking lot, a black woman comes to me. She got like 3 kids with her. And so out of everything that's happened throughout this day as far as time, I'm like, I just knew she was going to come and ask me for some money or something. She was going to have a sob story or something. I just knew it. You feel me? Like, you just know when somebody's going to come to you with that. And she didn't. She came to me. She was like look, I got jumper cables. Can you help give me a jump? Cool, bet. She ain't asked no money. I was so relieved. So I hop in the car, I pull over, you know what I'm saying, to where she was at, give her a jump. I mean, as soon as I hooked up the cables like that, boom, clockwork. And, you know, she had 3 black daughters with her, so I felt like it was a moment where, like, yeah, you know, black man, we do stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? We positive. You feel
We
me?
do this. We do this. We
Yeah,
do
we
this.
fixing the world, man, one jump at a time. So after that, it kind of made me think, and it was like, are we selfish with time to where we feel as though the only way we could be successful and productive is if things align with the time that we plan on? Or can we just still have the right energy and still make the right actions and still utilize time and see how it aligns with other things? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that impact did something for that person that I'm not aware of. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy. If I didn't get in this line behind this white lady, I wouldn't have been able to give her that jump. So it's putting things into perception. A lot of things do not happen when you plan on them happening, but it still doesn't take away positive impact, and it still doesn't take away from production. So that we have it. Divine timing. That's the backstory. That's the opening. I'll let you do your thing.
All right, man. Next want me to tell y'all the story about my trucking license. Yeah, yeah. Listen, y'all. I don't know how to quit. I just don't. I just don't. So your boy actually didn't pass the trucking test until the 4th time of taking it. Right. First time I took it, I'm thinking I got it, y'all. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go in here, fuck this up, man. I've been studying my ass off. Everybody from class is there. We cheering each other on. I go there. I'm like, yeah. So this door right here, it does this and does that. And this is the accelerator right here. And this leaf spring, it does this and that. So then, after she get done, after doing my specs, she was like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta take your test again. I said, take my test again? I was looking at her, I was like, well, bitch, you crazy? Did you not just hear what I just said? Like, I just named all the parts. What are you talking about? She's like, yeah, well, I'm not allowed to tell you what you messed up on, but yeah, I'm just gonna let you know that you gotta retake the test. I haven't taken a loss that hard that day in my life in such a long time. I was devastated, y'all. X was calling me. I was like, fuck X, man. I ain't picking up the phone. X didn't even know what's going on, man. Did not pick up the phone when he called me at all. Didn't care. I kind of crawled up, took me a nap, woke up, did a couple push-ups, and was like, you know what? I just got to bounce back, better reschedule. So I started calling these different trucking companies, trying to look for which one I could use their truck. Boom. One of the guys from my school was like, hey, Jonathan, what happened, man? What happened, man? Like, he talks just like that, y'all. Yes. He's like, yeah, what happened, man? What happened? He's like, man, I don't know, man. I did the parts. You're like, listen. You didn't get your license, but listen, come with me this day, and I'll help you study for the test. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like at some points during school, I didn't like this guy. I was like, man, he think he really know it all. But he literally said, listen, I'm gonna help you pass your test. I was like, all right, cool. So I got with him as we're going over the test together. He was like, no. See, you didn't say the things right. Listen, you're calling the parts right, but you're supposed to say what it does, right? Or for instance, the mirror is clean, clear, not cracked and broken. You're forgetting to add words to it. I said, oh, so that's how yeah, man, you got to tell how it works. You got to tell how it operates. So we're going through the whole thing, we're testing. Boom. Go back to the DPS. Testing. Part 2, man, I fucked that shit up, man. I'm like, oh, naming all the parts and pieces. I'm looking at the person like this. Like, yeah, you like that, huh? Yeah. No. We get in. Air brake test, y'all. Some of y'all don't know, like when you do the air brake test, you got to move the clutch back and forth. You got to explain how it works. Now, when I went to press down on the clutch and turn the key, it'll turn on. And what you have to do is remember that you have to be fully in control of the vehicle at all times. So when I press the clutch down, I try to turn the key to turn on. Damn, that's where I fucked up. So I smiled. I like, okay, I know where I failed at. And she was like, can't tell you what you failed, but listen, you passed your whole test. I mean, you passed the beginning part of your test. You just failed that one part. The third time I come back, the lady that just happened to be my mom's friend, she was like, hey, listen, you had it the second time. You know you could have restarted the test. I'm like, I could have? She's like, yeah, you just told them to just restart it. Like, nobody told us. I would have paid $350 for a fucking truck again, right? Now, remember, I had to pay for the truck every time. I'm up to $700 now. So, third time I take the test, boom. move on to the obstacle course, right? You got to drive through here. You got to parallel park. You got to reverse back. It's a lot of different things you got to do. Like, listen, operating a semi truck is not easy. Let me let y'all know that right now. Anybody who thinks trucking is an easy game is not easy at all. Trust me. So I just ended up fell in the parallel park, but then the fourth time I took it, passed everything, and I was on my way. And it was just like a moment in life, like, bro, I just don't know how to quit. Like, it's people from my school that failed that never went back to retake the test. And I was just like, listen, I didn't care how much it cost. I was going to keep going. And you only got 3 times to fail the test in different portions. So my mind was made up into a place where okay, graduate for trucking. We're going to move into the tech field. And boom, we're going to have everything planned out. Next week is when I actually start my enrollment for tech. So I'm actually a month behind, but at the same time, I already accomplished most of my goals for the year. So things I had mapped out didn't necessarily work into play, but the people along the way that I was able to inspire and move forward and tell them, listen, I'm still failing and still moving in life. You better learn how to do the same fucking thing. So it made them want to move forward at the same time. I showed the receipts. Damn, I spent about $1,000 just on renting the truck. And school was free. That's the crazy part. So I almost paid for a school class. But like I said, you just got to know how to move forward. Things are not going to map out the way it is. But as long as you move forward, that's all what life's about. That's how you get your respect.
Thanks. I guess the first thing that come to mind after that story is everybody's so caught up on their plans, and right. So you have to be aware of your character flaws. One of my flaws is I've never been the kind of person that got my heart broke because I didn't get what I wanted out of life. My biggest issue was timing. If I didn't get what I wanted at a particular time, if I got it later, it didn't mean the same thing. And that was anything, relationships, tangible things, whatever. If I didn't get things when I wanted them, when I got them, it didn't really mean a lot. You feel me? And I started just looking at patterns. Some people just locked in, so if they don't get what they want, it's just anything else, they just shut off. They cut off, right? They don't know how to deal with that. So I give you a story. I wanted a particular car, and it really wasn't that deep. I just seen this car a couple of times, and I'm like, I want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that.
Yeah.
At the time, the car, it wasn't really doing its job. I'm constantly, I got a car, but it's like I don't have a car because the car is steady in the shop. So I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to go buy a car. I already had it in my mind that the car that I actually wanted, I wasn't going to get it. I was going to take another car that was probably a lesser value and get a better deal. That was the plan. Go to the dealership. I want this car. You know what I'm saying? So they like, okay, bet. The guy just automatically was like, all right, look, I'm going to let you test drive that, but I'm going to let you test drive this other car. Now, this other car was actually the car that I wanted prior, but I had already gave that up. I'm like, fuck that. I know the plan. I'm sticking to the script. I'm test driving the car. I like it, but I'm telling myself, I really don't like it that much. You know what I'm saying? I'm on some real mental discipline shit. I think I'm being disciplined and whatnot. So we get back, they run the numbers, and no bullshit. The car that I actually wanted was brand new in the beginning. That's the one I scrapped out of my head. The one that I wanted was a used car that was a little older. It ran the numbers somehow. The brand new car that I wanted originally was cheaper. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right. So they went back. They told me what I'd be paying and all that. I was like, shit. All right, run it. So in moments like that, the lesson is sometimes, well, not sometimes, the universe is always responding to what you want, right? It's just that some people don't lock in what they actually want. They're more focused on probably the things that they don't want. So you have to be very, very intentional with your energy and what you actually want and what you demand out of life, because the universe is always responding to you. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody break it down on the fitness level. They was like, look, somebody could say, hey, I want a six-pack. The next person can say, I really want a six-pack, but I just want a flat stomach, or I don't want to be fat. So they was like, look, your brain can really just register the word fat, and then you never really burn as much fat as you truly want to burn because you're not locking in six-pack. So you have to be very discreet with what you want. Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the guys I love to listen to a lot, he always said his vision is what separated him from his peers. Whatever he wanted to do, he first had to have a vision of it. And then if he didn't have a strong vision of it, he would make sure that he would post posters or pictures or whatever he needed to do to constantly embed that image in his mind over and over and over again, making it tangible. So a lot of times in life, timing may not work when you want it to work, but it's just something about the human mind that's always working, even if it's not working based on time that you want it to work. So needless to say, just really channel in on what you truly desire. Some people want things in life, but they lie about it. They're not honest with themselves, so they never really are able to accomplish these goals. And if time don't align on top of that, they give up, they quit. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying in your stories, like you had a vision of what you wanted with the whole trucking thing, but failure came into place. And that's another loaded word because it's based on your perception of what failure is. Failure is an opportunity for you to grow and learn. Mm-hmm. It can make you 10 times stronger, or it could just make you be that person on the corner that's done lost everything and you just blaming the world for all your struggles and woes. So everybody experiences failure, but it's how you respond to quote unquote failure. So you got it.
Oh man, listen, like I said, failure is another chance to make improvements. But every L you take is supposed to be a learning lesson. Like I said, mentally I have trained myself to just never quit. Like I said, it's things I wanted to do younger, when it came to a certain like destination en route of what of the getting there, knowing I couldn't get there. I had to adjust to an alternative route to learn how to, hey, maybe I gotta take this route to get there. Some people just don't know how to take alternative routes to still get to the end goal. Anybody who's ever came over to my place of residence or anything like that, they'll tell you there's boards here, there's dry erase boards. I have an end destination of business. I have my end destination of how my body physique will look. I still believe I have 2 more transitional stages before I reach there. Why? Because as I grow, I understand certain things are not a good look. Like, for instance, I went and took my hazmat test today, right? Passed it. And before they took my picture, I realized I had on a graphic tee. And a graphic tee, it was nothing wrong with the graphic tee, but I realized, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm actually over this stage now. That, you know what I'm saying? Graphic tees was popular when you was younger, but as you get older, it's like I realized certain things about me are no longer in place. So I'm looking at it like, okay, it's going to the driver license. Okay, it's about to go into the system of Intego to get my fingerprint file. So I literally changed my shirt. I was just like, nah, let me make sure I present myself a little bit different at the same time. I'm 32 now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at that at the same time. When it comes to your transitional periods in time, they're never going to come how you think they're going to come. I'm going to be honest with you. All right? Because there's life's going to hit you with obstacles. You know, somebody going to set you up in a block. There's going to be a detour telling you got to go this way for right now. Listen, getting to the end is everything at the end of the day. Right? That's why I always tell people, like, listen, take some advice from people and learn from their mistakes. But understand there's some mistakes that they made that you might not necessarily make because you already have the experience once that obstacle comes and present itself, right? A person can't make, okay, somebody can't sell me on, fuck it, let's just say somebody can't sell me on a product I already know about, but trying to sell it at a bigger price. Like, somebody, you know, that car's worth $3,000, they're trying to sell you for $5,000. Well, you can't sell me on that. I already have experience. I already did my research. You can't fugazi me. So that's what I'm saying. Some people who get tricked in situations or buyers, like I said, sellers or buyers or anything like that, if you took out the time to understand where you're at in life, you can always maneuver better than other individuals. So I always keep that in mind as well.
I'll go here. A lot of people believe in God, and a lot of people have this connection with God to where you never question God. And I've went through plenty of times in my life where I'm a rebel, feel me? And I've done exactly that a lot of times. And during my journey, if things didn't happen according to my timing, and I felt as though I was over something from the universe, I did the work. I've done my good deeds. Give me this. Yo. So I would have instead of praying, I'd be like on some, you really doing this to me? Like me? Like out of all this I've done, and you still not, you not delivering? Fuck it. I'm done with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just honest enough to actually say it. A lot of people have these moments, but they're not honest about it. So during those moments, it's like, look, the universe, your God, your religion, whatever, nothing owes you anything. Whatever you get out of life is what you actually work for, even if the process is a little bit harder than what you think it should be. And this comes to like comparing yourself to other people. This person did this, they got it faster. This person is doing this, is working for them, it's not working for me. I'm doing these good deeds, where's my reward? Sometimes you just have to be caught up in the actions and disregard and disconnect from the reward or what you actually feel as though you deserve, because you don't deserve anything, right? That's how life works. Everybody goes on a quote unquote hero journey. The hero journey could be incarceration for 10 years for some people. It could be somebody going from different religions. It can be somebody relocating and constantly moving, constantly grinding and studying, taking 10 years to build a business or a brand. Like I brought up Apple earlier in the conversation. Apple was started in the 70s. They didn't really pop until like the 2000s.
2000s for
So
sure.
you just have to be aware that the hero's journey is what actually makes you who you are. Every quote unquote failure, every setback, every year added on to that destination. Well, they say life is not a destination, but it's a journey. Feel me? And you had Nipsey come with the whole marathon concept. So all these things are tapping into your hero's journey. You have a lot of, I tap into a lot of people from Wall Street Trapper, Mike Rashid, all these different people. They will tell you through incarceration is where they went on their hero's journey. And that's a depth in life to which a lot of people would just give up, right? You're already a product of the system. You're already in the lowest state that you could possibly be in. But for some people, that's where they find God, quote unquote, or the God within themselves. So time is very critical. You may not actually reach these goals when you plan on it, but your hero journey, your journey in life is what prepares you for that moment. You might want to tap into being a public speaker. All right, bet. Get going now. Do as many videos as you can. Go live as much as you can. Even though it's trial and error, what's going to happen is you're going to build more confidence. You're going to get in front of the camera more times than other people, right? This is going to prepare you for your big moment. I was listening to a Tupac interview. He was like, look, I invited Janet Jackson to one of my early shows. It was 5 people in the crowd. A month later, the whole crowd was just packed. Everybody knew my words in just a month. So if you give up and you quit because things aren't aligning the way you think they should, you will never see what's at the end of that journey. You will never see the success. You will never be able to, quote unquote, manifest what you truly desire because you're looking at the time and that you think things should happen within. So everything is to prepare you for the next step, no matter if you view it as being negative or quote unquote positive. And that's based on perception as well. So go through the steps. Some people only move when shit is perfect, when they actually plan out every detail. The business is right, the money is right, the cute, tangible things is right. Fuck that. If the only thing you got is a camera phone and a fucking tripod, do your thing and go through that process. You're always going to build character in your lowest moments or the moments that you don't even see the end of the tunnel anymore. So this is word to the wise. If you want something in life and you're working towards that, go ahead and put in the work now. Don't wait till things are how you want them to be because you don't build character in those moments. So always prepare yourself for the next step in life. So you got it.
Right. Made a Facebook post the other day. I said, listen, people love explaining how high their worth is, but their actions are so low. Yeah, some of y'all operate off the highness of what you believe you're worth, with words and not your actions. That's why personally, me, I don't really like to lead with a lot of things I talk about myself personally. I was just like, listen, I'm gonna say little things and then I'm gonna do it. My favorite saying is, listen, I'm gonna put some things in front of you and then watch me execute it. Anybody who's into my life has watched me execute it. And if I didn't do it, man, I found a different alternative things that might probably didn't like catch my interest outside of that. One thing about your actions, like I said, your actions gonna raise your value. Your actions gonna raise your respect level. Your actions will raise your influence. Actions is really the cure to everything. Like there's a thing called ACE. We used to call it ACE. It means action cures everything. Meaning the things you do will help you overcome situations. Okay, you're sick. Okay, your actions should be okay. I need to be cautious what I'm eating. I need to maybe take some medicine, take some remedies, or in order to get things back in place. Hey, listen, I'm broke right now. My actions needs to come in place. Okay, maybe I need to learn how to budget. Maybe I should look for a job that's paying more. Maybe I need to take myself back to school. Maybe I need to find a trade or a skill. Your actions will cure anything you go through if you find out the ways it is to put things in positions and then go after it. I still live my life in quotes, rules. It's a lot of things that are instilled into me on a structured basis that help me become a better person. Sometimes people say something to me, I'll literally hit you with a quote right then and there. Because there's a lot of things even with people like to say, oh man, the scripture says this and that. Cool, the scripture does match that situation right then and there. 100%. So there's things that's already put into place or rules that a lot of us don't tend to go by or try to believe like it's not true until you actually place in that situations. Right? I always say you want to know if somebody's ready, put them in a situation to prove if they're ready. It shows if did you prepare beforehand or it proved you wasn't ready. And if you did prove it wasn't ready, it's time for you to go back to fucking work. Exactly what I did when I failed my test. I went back to work. I went back to study, got with some people who was better than me, who passed, and learned from them. They went out there and passed my test. What you do in your lowest moments will determine how high you get. Because at the same time, things are not hitting you so hard that you once went through if you know how to overcome it. But if you get hit with a situation, you never overcome it, and another one happens, you actually just start getting pushed back from that point.
Mhm. Yeah. Famous thing I say, I've been here before. Sometimes you have to remind yourself of what you overcame and then look at the things, the obstacles that you're facing. And then once you put that shit on the scale, 9 times out of 10, you've already overcame something 10 times heavier. Steve Harvey once said something that was powerful. If you think about every bad day you had in your life, every failure, if you could write them all down, guess what happened? You've already surpassed that level. You've
Mm-hmm.
already overcame that. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? So your record is like 100-0. Even if it's 100 bad days, look, you still living, you still pushing, you still moving, you still thriving. So, you have to have past positive reflections over what you've been through and just use that as fuel. So whenever I encounter something, it's like, all right, bet. I haven't been here before.
Yeah.
Feel me? Like everybody's story is different. I can be like, look, I haven't been homeless before. I haven't been through abusive situations with parents. I haven't been through trial and error and so many different things, had money, lost money, what have you. So if life throws something at me now, I remind myself where I came from. So this shit is nothing. I can push through it. So you have to remind yourself of that. And 2 points I connect. Uh, Even when people want to quote unquote invest money, they make mistakes because you have uh, poverty that's attached to you, right? So you think everything should be quick. You don't understand investing, right? So one thing you always learn is you never want to sell a goose. You sell the eggs, right? Never sell a goose, sell the eggs. The eggs is the byproducts of the goose. So you always want to keep your goose. Feel me? Selling the eggs may not add up to what the goose is worth, and that's okay. But throughout time and longevity, you'll make more.
Yeah.
So you always want to keep that in mind when it comes to investing, not just with money and assets, but actually your energy, your time, your body, your health, what have you. And then, shouts out to my pops. He told me the story of the eagle and the chicken, right? So he was like, it was an eagle, right, that got displaced somehow, right? The egg got displaced in the chicken coop. So the eagle grew up as a chicken. And when the eagle grew up, he would see these eagles fly over the chicken coops. And he'd be just blown away. Like, damn, what is that? And they like, that's an eagle. And he just like, wow. If one day, I mean, if I could just do that and be that, like, that'd be amazing. The eagle was raised as a chicken. So he thought as a chicken, even though he was an eagle. Feel me? So in life, you always want to know your value and know your worth. Feel me? And this goes into the law of exposure. Once the exposed to something, you can't like undo that process. The exposure is there. So if you want to align with timing better within your life, you always want to increase your exposure to positivity and actually learn your worth and your value. So you don't want to be the eagle that's thinking you're a chicken, right? Because all the other chickens is looking at you and seeing what you are, but you don't know who you are. So you could eliminate time of trial and error and pain if you just actually know your worth and your value. Look in the mirror. So, like I brought up, past positive reflections. You always want to work on self. A lot of people will substitute God and religion for not actually working on self. But if you work on both at the same time, now you're actually a force in nature to be reckoned with. So, just word to the wise. A lot of people will struggle longer than need be because they never know who they truly are and what they can actually bring to the world and society. You can have a talent and gift, and you should actually spend time working on that talent and gift, investing into that product and that brand. But instead, you're working 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? You never want to trade your time for money, even if it's more money. And that goes back to the goose and the egg. You're selling the goose, sell the eggs. Your time is your most valuable asset. So even if you make more money now, is it actually worth it in the long run? So if you look at all these brands, all these successful entrepreneurs, they passed up on a lot of money up front to invest money back into their initial product or brand to make that pop. So you can spend a lot more time wasting time thinking you're advancing throughout time, but you're really just slowing yourself down because you're supposed to do this one particular thing, but you're finding all these other things to substitute. Even 19 Keys, he was like he had a 6-figure job working for a product, and then after that he opened up a store selling his own products, and he was making a couple of $1,000s, and he was living in the illusion that my shit is popping. And somebody reminded him, you bigger than this store. What the fuck you doing? I don't care if you're making a couple of $1,000s a month. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. So you could waste time chasing money, and that's cool and that's cute, but you really want to actually figure out what are you born to do, tap into that energy, and you will surpass all that shit. You will make more money. You will spend less time chasing it. Money would actually attract to you. A lot of people think about how to attract money, but you never think about what does money like. Feel me? Money has an attraction. So I'll let you have it.
Oh man, 2 things went through my mind. Just to break it down in smaller terms, like the goose is the business and the eggs are the product, right? Eggs is just a product that you're selling to keep the business, but at the same time, you can always buy a business later on and have the product. But you sell enough product, it raises the value of the business. So that's for anything that you do. And also when you was talking about the eagle and the coop, I mean eagle and the chicken, I was thinking about Tarzan. Tarzan thought he was a gorilla the whole time before he realized he was a human.
Couldn't tell him.
I don't know if y'all remember that. So now that's the big thing when you're being raised around something that you're not. But hey, listen, it sometimes gives you some type of abilities and sometimes it doesn't. But some of the biggest reflection periods in your life, the biggest reasons why you'll grow or why you'll hurt. Why do I say that? Because when you go through your inner traumas or big mishaps in life, it'll instill something in you that'll make you a sad, mad, or knowing that you overcame it can bring out a whole different monster in you. Right? I was having a deep conversation with a couple of people, and some people didn't realize some things happened to them as a kid until later in their 20s. I remember having to relive a situation later in my 20s. I'm like, yo, that shit really happened. And when you're not consciously aware of certain things, you have to forgive yourself of the actions that you participated in when you're not conscious of what's going on. I think that's a lot of forgiveness that you'll have to learn how to do on your own. And some people have never learned how to forgive themselves of things they didn't know consciously what they were around or what they were doing, to a point why they don't trust people, why they can't move forward in certain realms. But that's one of the biggest problems that you will ever have in building relationships that help further you to move further, right? And a lot of people keep saying, listen, I do everything on my own. I laugh at that because nothing in this world operates 100% on their own. Everything is still dependent on something else. So,
Mm-hmm.
but here to say that, listen, some of the things, your trials and tribulations will be one of the biggest moments and with your divine being and within time itself. The more you prep yourself, the more time it starts becoming an illusion. You start gaining access to stuff quicker. To me, I said, time is an illusion. I do believe it is illusion, but I also believe time has the effect on you to where it becomes an illusion once you get past a certain stage in your life to understand, like you said, your purpose, your worth. Then it's like, hey, I know what to do from this stage on forward. So we still got the same 24 hours in a day, but some people make 24 hours seem like it's forever because what they're able to execute within that day, while we're somewhat operating within a 24-hour realm. Like myself, some people operate off of 212s, right? Okay, from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm gonna do this, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. doing this. I operate off of 4/6s from the 4 different parts of the time periods from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 12, 12 to 6, 6 to 12 again. I operate off of 4 quadrants. So I know each quadrant I need to be doing something. In one quadrant, I'm sleeping. And I should sleep more than that next quadrant. I should be actually be proactive and productive towards then. So when you can break down your times, you'll understand how to even move more effectively.
Mm-hmm. And pretty much that breaks down into what we call time self-perception, into how an experience of time can either slow down or accelerate, right? And cause a trigger response within your body on how you actually perceptualize the time. You could be in line behind somebody, like I said, I was in the store, you feel me, waiting behind this lady, and it felt like it was forever. You can spend that same amount of time in a club, and like the shit go by like that. Time self-perception.
Yeah.
So, feel me? Or, other things could go by, be lost in time. That's nice.
Hey, listen, you be lost in time in that book. I know what you're talking about,
man. So, needless to say, if you understand that science of time, you can manipulate time within your life, and not to be on no fly shit, but like if you look at movies like The Matrix, how Neo and shit was able to slow down time, shit. Like these were the subliminals within the movie. So everybody got the same 24 hours, that's true. But how you spend the time is actually how your cells respond to the time. So what you can establish and conquer within a week, it could take somebody else 3 months to do what you did within that week. Yeah. And that's just really based on your mindset. You gotta know who you are. Like me, I'm a person that's real big on like mantras. I have to constantly read positive things throughout the day. I gotta tap into like what is my astrology world aligning to, what is this matching up with this. I gotta do all that because like I say, I'm a hothead when it comes to a lot of things. But a lot of people would know me as being very peaceful. So I spend a lot of time on becoming peaceful because I know that about myself. So you have to be honest with yourself, and this could allow you to manipulate time throughout your day. Work on the things that add more value throughout your day, and then the day won't just flip by like that so fast. You can actually slow down time depending on how you utilize time. But if you're wasting time doing things that are bringing negative energy to you, before you know it, you'll be that person that was like, damn, I was 20, now I'm 30, now I'm 50. And you know what I'm saying? Now your eyes closed, they willing you down 6 feet and shit, and you ain't accomplished nothing. You want to be able to manipulate time, right? And it's not like pseudo shit, but it's real life. People that are happier, they don't have that reaction like, damn, 10 years went by. They're enjoying every day, every week, every month. You feel me? And it starts with something simple as past positive reflections, work on things to increase your positive energy throughout the day, whether you got to read a Bible verse a day, you got to work out, whatever it is you got to do. Give yourself, like I always say, start with like 15, 30 minutes a day, giving you time to do something that you enjoy. Feel me? This is what's going to allow you to be able to manipulate time at your will. And that's another conversation to tap into, quote unquote, different frequencies and vibrations, what have you. So yeah, you have to know what your flaws are within your character and work on those flaws, and then you can manipulate time and advance quicker. Kobe, for example, he's like, look, bet everybody else training, they working hard, they grinding, they pushing. Me waking up at 4 in the morning is gonna put me hours ahead of these people on a day-to-day basis. And then if I do the calculations, I'm gonna be years ahead in training than they are. Even though we existing within the same time period, I'm already years ahead of these people. Jordan, it was like, look, this dude could like pause in the air and do all this shit. Where do you think that comes from? It comes from the mind, right? The practice, the input that you put into your life, your happiness, what have you. This is what's gonna allow you to be able to conquer shit faster. So just words to the wise on that. And I brought up in the previous episode, you know, I brought up death. A lot of people, you don't want to be a person that puts things off like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do this in 6 months. I'll do this next week. What if you're not here? You feel me? If you constantly feeding your brain, look, I got 24 hours to do this. I got 24 hours to do that. What tends to happen? You tend to accomplish things at a faster pace, even if it don't happen in 24 hours. I ain't saying overload yourself to where you just pass out at the end of the day because you're trying to accomplish everything in one day. But you have to show time appreciation. That's what I believe. If you appreciate your time, you don't feel a need to waste time. Millionaires, they speak about it a lot. They're like, look, there's people working 9 to 5s, can't pay their bills, living from paycheck to paycheck, but y'all going out more than we do. Y'all popping bottles more than we do. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you got to go out, really? Like, you need to be taking that time to invest within yourself to get yourself off the clock. And even if you don't get off the clock, just create different sources of revenue. Like, this is the way people are looking at you that's in a higher class bracket. They have less free time than you do, but you're the one living paycheck to paycheck. So it's all about how you conceptualize time. I said in the previous episode, 9 times out of 10, you'll be dead more than you're alive. So you have to always work on what are you leaving behind? What are you working towards to establish? Because time just may not be on your side, so to speak. Going back to Tupac, Lil Wayne, all these people. He was like, I seen Lil Wayne receive an award, some Lifetime shit. And he was like, look, I was late coming to get this award because I was in the studio. And as soon as I walk off the stage, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the studio. I'm like, yo, you can't buy this shit. This is the work ethic that separates men amongst boys, men amongst males, what have you, top females against everybody else. Like, you have to truly utilize and appreciate your time. So you got it.
Yeah, man. Listen, Jonathan. Oh, God, I said my government name. Forget it. Yeah, Jonathan, Juice, whatever you want to call me for the night. I respect the hierarchy. Why do I respect it? Because nobody gets there through fucking talking. Actions must be done as you climb certain ranks in this world. So when I have somebody who's in a hierarchy to me or higher up than me, and they give me their time, I know not to fucking fuck around with it. Okay? I'm gonna take the advice they have in order to obtain what they have at the same time, right? And this is one of the things that people don't understand. People are willing to pull you up, but they want to see that you actually work at the same time. Some people really just want to be like, listen, you black, I'm black. What's up, man? Just like, listen. Some people want to use the skin. People want to use their race. Some people want to be like, hey, listen, we both went to Barber College. Like, come on, man. Like, hey, you know, none of that matters if you still have poor work habits, a poor mindset. I just don't want to be around you. People don't want to be around you at the same time. I remember a guy I was with. He was like, listen, sit with me for 1 hour with my friends, and let me sit with you for 1 hour with your friends, and I'll tell you if I got smarter. And I was like, oh, okay. He said, see, sometimes you need to redefine your friends and know where they are really fit in y'all's life. Kevin said it the best. He said, listen, your friend circle should change every 5 years. The ones who maintain in your circles is people who are usually making progress with you. They make progress with you, you should be able to tell them everything about your life, and they should be able to do the same thing about yours. I was like, that's what I said. Listen, me and Ace Maracus is middle school. Middle school. Like, bro, people are not still friends with their middle school people these days. But at the same time, like I said, I have a hunger for progress. I have a hunger for success. The X is the same goddamn way. So it's like, listen, I'm just going to attach myself and build with people I know I can build with. Right? Like I said, everybody starts even, but time really defines we're not the same. Somebody's going to keep accelerating because that's just who they are. And somebody's going to feel entitled or feel like, well, you know, you got better chances. Well, you know what I was doing there. Like, listen, there's no excuses in this world. That's how I really look at life. Some people don't like the way I think when I get really hardcore, but life is really what you make it. I play that song by Nas all the time. Life is what you make it. I play that song by all the time. And it's instilled in me so much that why some people's actions reflect their life, but they feel like it shouldn't reflect their life. I'm like, no, baby, everything around you is built from what you did. Everything that's around you is built because what you didn't overcome. Everything around you is built from what you attract. And when I just start going to deep thoughts, like, yeah, sometimes I talk to myself for like a couple hours a day. Just not no lunatic shit, but have conversations amongst myself. And it makes me understand a lot of things I'm putting myself into where I can bring people in and one I have to tell some people wait and something like that. Like I have a whole week free next week, but it's dedicated for me to get in school. But if in that time period of being off, I'm still gonna give my time to serve people. Just not everybody's gonna get it. So be more conservative and use your time wisely. I'm also saying also have fun with it. I know before I study at times, I play a video game. I listen to some music. I'll do certain things to make myself more aware. And when he's another thing he said, your actions is reason why time goes by fast or slow. Sometimes when I read, I lose track of time. I don't even know what the hell is going on. I mean, one time I woke up, I was like, "Damn, it's 2 o'clock. Nigga, I just started reading at 12." It grasps my attention so much that you have to time yourself. Or you realize like when you have conversations with people and you be like, listen, I'm only gonna do like 10 minutes. But the conversation is so worth it. You go in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, next people be like, man, hey, listen, man, you call my phone, what you want to talk about? I'm thinking it might be a 10-minute conversation. We talk for an hour or two. I'm literally on the phone like, listen, I'm like, hey, no ketchup, no mayo, please. We ordering food. That's how long we on the phone. But it's well worth conversations that even within the midst of doing working that we're both clocked in, work is not existing in that time realm because we're too focused on what we're conversing about. So once you learn like to make these type of changes within your life, things are going to be definitely worth it. Minimize the bullshit, accelerate the good shit. All right, put that in your book, man. I want 10 cents per book you said.
We'll write up the contract.
Hey, well, write that contract, man. Write that contract,
We got
man.
third-party witnesses like a motherfucker.
I remember this goddamn episode.
Right. And tapping in on what you was talking about, man, like work is work, and some people got to really realize that. If you're building more character, you're building more positive energy. If you're utilizing your time for your benefit, you're still working, even if it's not the work you planned on doing. So work can be a conversation with the right person at the right time, and that can open up a door. It can open up a train of thought. It can spark an idea. That's how you want to utilize your time. If you just look at it like, look, I'm planning on doing this and this is what work is for today, even though you canceled out everything on your list, you still might be counterproductive because the work you could have actually done is not even within your vision or foresight. So work is something you're always doing if it's adding positive value to your life. The right conversation with the right person. I have to check myself a lot with this. I mean, I'm the kind of person, bro, I'm so locked in on my schedule. I could be talking to somebody, but my feet could be pointed away from them because I'm telling myself I ain't got time for this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm halfway talking to you. I'm talking good now, but I'm halfway talking to you because I know I got to do some other shit. I had to learn to slow down within time. And sometimes those 2 or 3 hour conversations could do more for me than what I had on my agenda. So work is work. Work is not what you always conceptualize work to be. And you gotta like, that's a tricky thing because if you was talking to a billionaire, you know you'd be working because you're talking to a billionaire. But what if the universe got it aligned for you to talk to this particular person at this moment for you to gain something that can make you $1 billion? Like, so you have to be really catchy about how you conceptualize things. And I would say this: if you really look at time, if you really working on yourself, you hustling, you grinding, you making the most out of every day. I don't understand jealousy. I don't understand paying attention to what everybody else is doing and comparing yourself. You're not giving yourself enough time. If you're looking at what somebody else got that's tangible, and you feel like, okay, bet I can get that same thing. Let me channel in on what they're doing and how they got it. That could be positive and it could be negative because you're losing sight of who you are, right? You could actually gain 10 times more than what they have at that moment, but you're not giving yourself enough time. Just because somebody attained something that's tangible faster than you did, it don't mean anything.
Mm.
Like you said earlier, some people can start here and then you can notch up, notch whatever. But jealousy, you don't have time for that. If you truly locked in on who you are, what you're doing, what you're accomplishing, every day you're going to feel successful. You don't feel the need to take nothing from nobody else. You don't feel the need to hate on nobody else. Whether it's a woman, a family, you know what I'm saying, a women looking at other people getting the right man, whatever, a car, a job, whatever. If you're living your life the way you feel you should be living it, and that shit is leveling up, you feel successful every day. So you're able to celebrate your successes with your friends and your family successes at the same time. There's no comparison, there's no jealousy because you're winning at life. At some point, if you feel, I feel as though if you feel that type of energy and that over consumes you, at some point you gotta look in the mirror and be like, I'm losing somewhere. You need to channel back on your losses and conceptualize what is it that you think you're losing. And then maybe you can look at that and maybe you could save a relationship. A lot of people destroy relationships out of jealousy and hatred, and really it's something internal. It ain't got nothing to do with the other person. You know what I mean? So this is word to the wise. Maybe y'all can save some relationships. And my last point, Muhammad Ali started boxing because at 12 years old, somebody stole his bike. Terry Crews was like, I want to lift weights, I want to be strong, because I seen my mama get the shit beat out of her in front of me by my dad. And my dad whooped my ass. CT Flexor, same story, right? So when you look at time and you look at experiences, sometimes the most negative shit is what prepares you to be the greatest version of yourself. You just have to give yourself time. Feel me? You ain't got to go to the bottle. You ain't got to go to the blunt. You ain't got to go to the drugs. You ain't got to go to the streets. You ain't got to go to all the negative resources because you experience negativity. Sometimes the negativity is what's preparing you to be the greatest version of yourself. Some people go to church and they want to hear from a pastor. Some people, you feel me? Like, however somebody needs to break that message down to you, sometimes you're going through these types of things, right, prematurely to prepare you to be who you're meant to be to the world. So now when you experience that trauma, you experience that quote unquote negativity, you exhibit extreme strength and confidence. So now you're able to reach a multitude of people that can, let's say they encounter things that's less of what you've been through. You're still able to reach those people. You're still able to connect with your purpose. So your biggest bodybuilders, sometimes they felt the weakest at they in their life. The most successful and richest people in the world, they felt the most broke and poor. Like, you know what I'm saying? So word to the wise, just give yourself time on a day-to-day basis to experience life. And these situations and things that you're encountering that you think is so negative and unfair, you might not even feel the same way about it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, sometimes 20 years from now. Give yourself time to live. If you wake up every morning, you're blessed. If you got another 24 hours, you're blessed. If you still can utilize your body 100% of the time, you're blessed. You have an advantage. You know what I'm saying? If you come from street culture, you're not in prison, you're not dead, you're not in a wheelchair, you're blessed. So utilize your time properly. So that's all I got, man.
Man, that's all I got, man. I don't even know what to tell you, man. Unless y'all want me to drop some of my quotes and philosophies. Y'all like that? Yeah, I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta pay me for that too, man. Like, every time I drop a quote, man, somebody got $75. You know what I'm saying? Hit the super chat. You know what I'm saying?
Super chat.
You know what I'm saying?
Bad now. Bad now, me.
Hell no.
You ain't gonna get that money.
Yeah, I ain't
You gonna pay taxes like a motherfucker. Yo, it's $5. I gotta pay tax on that. Capital gains tax. All right. So yeah, we can wrap that one up. Nothing else. We appreciate y'all watching and tapping in as usual. I'll be real with y'all. Honestly, we was developing this topic. We didn't know how this was gonna flow, but it worked out. You feel me? Everything was good. The energy was good. Storage was real. Appreciate you for
True story.
watching.
We didn't even know what we was
Yeah.
gonna talk about for this. Yeah, I see ain't no promo. Ain't no promo.
Bro, I ain't paused down
Hey,
for
no
that,
promo.
y'all.
What we gonna do?
Yeah. Hey, divine timing.
Hey, my
Keep being
time, man. Hey,
productive.
just
You
throw it
never know
out
what
there, man. Let's
happens.
see what happens.
Throw it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. Make sure you tap into the YouTube channel. That's really what counts. Subscribe to the link in both of our bios. Hey, we out.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.